Made more secure to avoid identity theft? Are you concerned that lax security policies in state driver's license agencies make it easy to commit identity theft? Are you in favor of the establishment of a national ID in the United States? If you said yes to these questions, you just voted in favor of the prophesied mark of the beast. We'll explain today on Politics and Religion.
Look, there are two things I don't discuss: politics and religion.
In my house, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion.
I'll talk to you about anything except politics and religion.
I never talk about politics and religion.
Politics determines how we'll live here on earth. Religion determines how we'll live forever. I'm Irvin Baxter. I think it's time we talk about it.
Well, you're not going to believe what I just happened to receive through the mail today. On the front page of the envelope, it says, "Can you guess who is the real Lawrence Smith?" It has a picture of one man with long hair with a mustache, another man, much older looking, with very clean shaven with a ball cap on, and he's here on the front cover. And then the caption says, "See inside why driver's licenses must be made more secure to avoid the threat of identity theft to you." Big bold letters, all caps, identity theft to you, red, underlined. I open it up inside, and immediately the fear campaign starts. Dear fellow American, in 2006, 67-year-old Lawrence Smith spent 8 days in a Florida prison charged with violating parole, reckless driving, and owing thousands of dollars in medical benefits. Incredibly, police had the wrong man. The real perpetrator of these crimes was Joseph Kidd, who stole the identity of Lawrence Smith in 1993 and successfully used it for 17 years. If you don't think this could happen to you or a loved one, think again. I should tell you, as president of the Coalition for a Secure Driver's License, CSDL, the nation's leading nonprofit organization focused on the dangers posed by weak ID standards, I see this all the time. Identity theft is the fastest growing crime in America. Goes on down to say, there is one simple way to stop thieves and fraudsters impersonating someone else in order to obtain a driver's license they will use to commit crimes. Enforce Public Law 109-13, also known as Real ID, which establishes stricter federal standards for issuing driver's licenses and ID cards. Okay, so I'm astounded because we just produced our program on Tuesday on the subject of the national ID, of the real ID. We also recorded 4 television programs on the real ID, and here I received through the mail, amazingly, this solicitation from the Coalition for a Secure Driver's License. Enclosed was this public opinion survey. Now listen to how deceiving this is. They're asking me to complete the public opinion survey, which they then intend to take the totals of and present it to Congress to push the different state legislators to approve the Real ID Act. Listen to it. Question number 1, should driver's licenses be made more secure to avoid identity theft? What's your reaction? Yes or no? Do you want to avoid identity theft or not? Well, obviously, We want licenses to be secure, and so we probably should say yes, right? I said no. Question number 2. Should Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano enforce Public Law 109-13 to prevent identity thieves, including terrorists and illegal aliens, from obtaining driver's licenses? Yes or no? Do you want to stop terrorists and illegal aliens from receiving driver's license? Well, of course you do. So the inclination would be to say, well, yes. I said no, because I know what they're trying to do. Number 3, are you concerned that lax security policies in state drivers' license agencies makes it easy to commit identity theft? So am I concerned about identity theft? I don't want anybody stealing my identity. So I guess I'm somewhat concerned about identity theft. So the natural inclination would be to say, well, I'm going to vote yes for that. Instead, I voted no. Question 4, are you concerned that you could suffer financial loss from identity fraud if someone got a driver's license in your name but with their picture? Well, I don't want them being able to charge money on any of my accounts. So I would be inclined to vote yes. But I voted no. Why? Because these questions are all very deceptive. They're trying to get me to vote for the Real ID Act, which establishes a national ID so that every one of us would have a record with all of our vital information on it, including our birth certificate, including our Social Security number, including our digitized picture, so that would be available to all the states. And if it's available to all the states, I promise you it's available to the federal government. If anybody tells you the federal government will not have access, do not believe them. Because we thought we had a law to keep them from tapping emails, observing web activity, and we did have a law. But they did it anyway after 9/11. And furthermore, they then passed for themselves an immunity act, which President Obama said he would be against, but ended up voting for. So this sounds good on its face, and most people, like lambs to the slaughter, are going to vote for it. But when you vote for this, you're voting for the Real ID Act, which they try to hide. They finally allude to it. They only use Law 109-13, which most people don't even know what that is. They finally disclose that it's the Real ID Act. The Real ID Act establishes a national identity card, which is like Hitler's Papers, Please, which you will have to have. You know, they're saying that you're going to have this to keep from you being defrauded, but now you're going to have it to prove that you are legitimate. So now you're going to have an ID card to function here in the United States of America, and your Bible prophesies a time is coming when everybody's going to have a mark or a number either in their hand or in their forehead. I don't know what that means. You've got a card in your hand or your card number in your brain. I don't know exactly how that's going to be implemented, but I do know it's prophesied in the Bible. It could never be implemented until right now, until the invention of the computer, until the birth of the internet. But you know that you can go almost anywhere in the world with your credit card and you can function. You can go almost anywhere in the world and with your number, you can pick up the phone and buy things from all over the world with just your number. And of course, if you lose your credit cards, you must immediately stop payment on those credit cards, or else someone's going to grab those and start buying things using your number, which they are well able to do. Okay. So here I get this campaign. This is an enslavement document, because the purpose for the national ID is control. Things are out of control. I mean, read the letter. Things are out of control. They found one man who spent 8 days in federal prison. I don't know the details about this man. I'd like to have the ability to truly investigate it, but they claim he's 8 days in jail because somebody thought he was somebody else. Now, how do you spend 8 days in jail without somebody finding out you're not that person? You're not the person that committed those acts. I don't know how that happens, but it's undoubtedly a very rare, extreme case. I lived a long time, and I've never heard of anyone spending that much time in jail on a case of mistaken identity, but it could have happened. So you find one extreme case to scare the living daylights out of Americans, and the key to getting people to surrender their liberties is to frighten them. We've seen the fear card played over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, since 1776, we've lived happily in this nation without a national ID. Now we've got to have it or else the sky is falling. I'm not buying. Furthermore, I'm selling. Because a national ID is simply the mechanism prophesied in the Bible that will soon be used for the implementation of the mark of the beast. We talked about this yesterday, but I felt like we left a lot of stones unturned. A lot of people called in here, and when I questioned them on where's your breaking point, where's your stopping point, a lot of them hedged a little bit because most of us have not come to grips with at what point do I say I will forego the ability to feed my family before I will go there. I will surrender my life before I go there. Have we a well-defined stopping point? I think we better have. Because if not, then those people who would like to steal our liberties will boil us like the proverbial frog, just turning the heat up 1 degree at a time until after a while we get used to it and we end up being boiled alive. They tell me you can do that to a frog. I don't know what kind of a monster would ever boil a frog alive, but I guess some people do. Okay. So we're talking about a lot of dollars. By the way, this organization, Coalition for a Secure Driver's License, is obviously well funded. I've done a few mailers in my day. I don't know how many millions of these they're sending out, but this little mailer here, I am sure, I'm estimating they've at least got wrapped up in this mailer. By the way, they had a return envelope too, so about 75 cents to $1. And if they did 10 million of them, maybe they did 100 million of them. All the homes in America, what are there? 150 million homes in America? Maybe they mailed one to every home. I don't know the answer to that. If they did, they spent a boatload of money. So who is behind this Coalition for a Secure Driver's License? Who's funding this thing? I'd like to find out. I'm going to try to find out. Because I got a feeling there's somebody back there somewhere that believes in big government and wants you to have a national ID card, that they can track everything you do so that they can start managing all of us, which is called controlling us, which is not freedom.
Endtime Ministries presents End of the Age, a 30-minute commercial-free TV show hosted by Irvin Baxter. Every Monday, End of the Age airs on the Church Channel at 9 p.m., Daystar at 10 p.m., and on TBN every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., all Central Standard Time. On End of the Age, Irvin depicts how modern issues like an establishment of a one-world government, the religion of Islam, a coming World War III, and more line up so clearly with Bible prophecies written over 2,000 years ago. To get tomorrow's news today, be sure to tune into End of the Age every Monday on the Church Channel at 9 p.m., Daystar at 10 p.m., and on TBN every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., all Central Standard Time. Visit endtime.com for more details or call us at 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-363-8463.
The Bible prophesies about 4 great spirits which control the actions of human beings, leaders, and even governments.